it's Rebecca, and I am a big fat liar, pants on fire, and I'm sorry. About a month or so ago, I put out a video recapping the Bookershelf 2016 reading challenge, and at the end of that video, I informed you all that I would not be taking part in a challenge this year, nor would I be putting together a challenge this year. Our results determine that that was a lie. Sorry. I wasn't intending on doing a challenge, let's just say that. My friend Jane and I are now radio presenters on a local radio station. I will leave a link down below to all the information, so if you do want to listen to us, that would be great. We are called the Wordy Birds, and we do a show every other Monday from 5 till 7, and it's got music and film reviews and book reviews and silly fun things. It's just a really fun show. And we kind of decided that as part of the show we would put together a reading challenge. I know, I'm a liar, I'm sorry. And the reading challenge would be very, very simple. There would only be 12 books, which is one book per month, and we decided which type of books we'd read each month, and that's what we'll be discussing on our radio show. So if you want to take part in the Wordy Birds 2017 reading challenge, then you are more than welcome to. I will go through the categories. I will also leave a link down below to our Facebook page, so if you are joining in with the challenge, you can leave us messages on the Facebook page to let us know what you've been reading, and if you do that, then we will mention you on the radio. We'll read out the books that you've been reading and your reviews or whatever. So that's what we're doing. It's not a serious challenge, and it's only 12 books, which is one a month, which is a fairly easy thing to do, kind of. So these are the categories and the months to read them in. So I know we've only got a little bit left in January. Apologies for this being late as well. So January's book is a book that has been on your bookshelf longer than a year. And if any of you know me, and you know that I get books and then I put them away and I don't read them, that one was quite an easy choice for me because I had lots to choose from. I could just close my eyes and take a book from the shelf. So January is a book that has been on your shelf for longer than a year. February is a book about animals. So this could be fiction or non-fiction. It could be a children's book. It could be an adult's book. It doesn't matter. It just needs to contain animal characters. For March, it's a book about transport or travel. So that can include anything to do with going somewhere. So on a plane, on a train, in a car, on your feet, in a spaceship, in a rocket, on a motorbike, on a scooter, on a skateboard. However you travel, however you get somewhere, that's what your March book needs to be about. April, and this is my little sneak to get Jane, my friend, to read something different, is a book written in the second person. And I will leave some information down below about second person narratives, but they're books. Okay, I know what they are, but I find it very difficult to explain them. So a first person narrative is a book written from the point of view of me. So I'm sitting here, I'm recording a video, I'm talking to you. That's first person narrative. Third person narrative is talking about other people. So she is sitting there, she is recording a video, and she is talking to you. Second person narrative is you. So I'm looking at myself from a distance. You're sitting there, you're recording a video, and you're making people confused by talking about the second person narrative. But like I say, I will leave a link down below so that you can find out, and with some suggestions of books as well. Because that's always a good thing. If you're going to read a book in the second person, you need some suggestions, because they're not that easy to find. For May's book, it's to read a book written by a local author. So it doesn't matter where you live on this planet, there's going to be people who either grew up in your hometown, or that you know, or that have lived where you live. And just find a book written by somebody that has lived or does live or was born in your local area. So that could be absolutely anything. For June, this is Jane getting back at me for asking for a second person narrative book, and it is to read a fantasy book because she knows I don't really like fantasy. I found one on my bookshelf somewhere that I bought ages ago and obviously haven't read. So that could be absolutely anything. It could be full-on hardcore fantasy, crazy, I don't know, Terry Pratchett. I don't know much about fantasy, so I do apologise. wizards and goblins and I don't know. Or it could just have kind of little fantasy elements in it. That's probably what I'm going for. An easier fantasy read, but just something fantasyful. For July, we would like you to read a book that was written before you were born. So that doesn't matter how old you are, because there are lots and lots of old books. It could be from a year before you were born, or it could be 100 years before you were born. Doesn't matter. It just has to be outside of your lifetime. For August's book, read a book set in a foreign country. So that is just any country that is not your own country. And as there are quite a few countries on this planet, there are lots and lots of things to choose from. So just anything that is set anywhere other than your own country. For September, this one's a little bit of a fun one. Read a children's book. I think a lot of adults don't read children's books because they think they're too childish or too silly or too flippant. But there are some brilliant, brilliant children's books out there. Things that I probably would never have read as a child. Things like The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas and The Book Thief and... oh, I don't know, but lots of things that are written for children that are very highbrow and very interesting. It doesn't even need to be a highbrow children's book, but don't think that all children's books are silly and stupid. Pick anything from a children's category, and if you go to your local library, there are thousands of brilliant children's books if you don't actually own any. For October's book, if you're a big bookish person and you like to go to festivals and book signings, read a book by somebody that you've met. Now, this could be somebody that you've actually had a good, decent conversation with, or somebody that you've just happened to say 5 words to in a book signing queue. They've signed your book, you've thanked them, and you've walked away. So it could be anybody that you've met that has written a book. If you haven't met anybody that's written a book, read a book by somebody that you would really like to meet. One of your favourite authors that you would, that you would love to have at your fantasy dining table. When you think of who you'd invite to your dinner party, could be one of those authors. But if you have met an author, read a book by somebody you've met. If you haven't met one, read a book by somebody that you would really like to meet. For November, read a book that has been recommended by somebody else. So it could be a friend, a partner, a child, a colleague, anybody that likes reading. They may recommend a book that is outside of your normal reading sphere, or they may recommend something that they know you'll like. But just ask somebody what they've enjoyed reading and then read that book. And for December, and I'm going to do it again this year, read a Christmas book. And I've already started putting together some Christmas reads that I can read in December this year, but we would just like you to read any Christmas book. It can be anything at all that contains something Christmassy and festive. So they are the 12 categories that we would like you to read. And if you are taking part in this challenge, like I say, join us on our Facebook page. We will share on the radio the books that you've been reading, and if you've liked the books or not liked the books, or recommendations, suggestions, anything like that. And I'll leave all the links down below so you can listen to us on the radio and you can join in with the reading challenge. So I am sorry for being a big fat liar pants on fire. I will try not to do it again. Have a good day.